You ever notice he's never over here?
I know you do a good job. Hey, I don't mind a man adjusting things for me.
It's not that Martin does a good job. He just knows don't touch anything.
And I don't, and I'm very disciplined. That's just who I am.
Excuse me.
But luckily, I already started recording, so I've captured all of this.
You captured
Oh,
it?
good. I'm just kind of like in a moment of this is our last show here. And it's kind of like...
It's our last show.
But you do have to remember, we actually started out at the old space.
I
We did.
So this is the second
Yeah.
space.
The second
It's our
space.
second space.
But I think I grew more here.
Did you grow more
Oh my God.
here?
Yes. As far as just being comfortable with me.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And not doing, I cannot stand, I can't throw something at him. And not being more like that interviewee style, you know. I kind of just let that all go.
Yeah.
And
Just allow yourself to be you.
yes, me.
You allow yourself to be
Me.
you. With me. Come on there. Get on the tone. Get on it. Get on it with me. You. Bring it. We'll work on it.
Okay, but so I've seen the transition because I always stalk our shows and watch them and
that's
see
good.
how I used to do interviews and compare it to how I'm doing it now, and I like my transitioning.
Yeah. Definitely.
Martin's
think
living his transitioning.
being
to
relaxed.
That bag and dog together.
Yeah. So do.
Yeah, get the big dog. Hi, welcome to the show.
Welcome.
So tell me, how is it living with Kurt?
Why did he drop his head?
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
No, he dropped his head because he wants me to continue to rub him. But so how do you feel? You feel like you've transitioned from the old place to this place?
Yeah, definitely. Similar to what you said, the growth in comfortability as far as not being so driven by follow-up questions and sometimes allowing the guests just to talk. At times they say stuff that triggers a thought and you want to interrupt. But instead of interrupting them, just let them go. Just kind of hold on to that thought and let them speak it. And sometimes they end up going down the path I was going to ask about, and they end up speaking to it anyway. So it's that patience and really ensuring that, we say we're highlighting the celebrities in the community. So part of that is giving them that
platform,
right? So they can talk. And it's so funny because I watch some other shows and I get annoyed and irritated when the guest is talking and the host keeps jumping in, and I'm like, shit, let them talk.
If they
Let them finish, because then they jump into something because they have a thought based off of what they were saying, and now I was waiting to hear the continuance of the story, and now they just pivoted into something else, and they don't ever go back because they're not
forgot.
right.
You can't
So, and it's on the host to be. Now, it's okay to jump around, but it's on the host to be like, all right, bring them back. And I feel like we started getting better and better at that, where we might jump around, but we'll hold on, and then we'll bring them back. Say, okay, so you were mentioning this, so let's get back into that, and then the guest is usually like, oh yeah, thank you, and let me jump back in.
Yeah. And it's definitely a skill to have.
Yeah, because you have to be paying attention.
Yeah.
It has, and sometimes I feel like some hosts that I see, they try to make it about them. That's why I like certain shows where the camera is just on the guests, like those, and I like the ones where they just let them talk. It's just a conversation. The ones where it seems
That's like Vlad. I don't even know how he looks. I mean, the host.
So but again, there's no blueprint to any of it. Everyone's doing what they think.
Oh yeah, but we can still have our opinions.
Oh yeah, I still had that.
Yeah.
I'm just saying there's nothing in stone. I just have a preference.
Yeah. And then I'm kind of excited about where we're gonna go. The future of Brown Belt Speaks. how because of our growth and how we're now looking at our numbers more so than we was before, because we never paid attention to if you was watching, and we did not care if you was watching or not.
It was all about the love. So Kurt, just so you know, we've been the last few months, or a little longer than that, but really intensely looking at on the last few months as far as trying to understand the numbers.
It's the business.
And why some things hit and some things are amiss when it comes to viewers. So.
But you know, I think with Spotify, I was more so looking at the numbers. Well, Anchor, because it's like Anchor is like the media hub that gives you that platform to go to different outlets like Spotify, like Apple. So I've been looking at the Anchor app, and they have the analytics. And you remember I was telling you the show with Jake the Wine Guy, it reached over to Germany. I think we had more views in Germany. Yeah. So we've been doing it for audio, but we haven't paid attention till just recently, a couple of months ago, for YouTube. But it is a great experience. I think if you are thinking about getting into podcasting, I don't think you should go into it feeling like you need to know everything. I think if you just love to have those genuine conversations with people, that's what you should lead with, and then let the business part grow further down the line. Get your content together first.
And then it's steps to it. You know, like they say, you have to crawl before you can walk. And then walk before you can run, and you keep. Understanding your process and what you do best. And if it's a team of you, like luckily we have the three of us, you know, we can have discussions.
Luckily we have Kurt, because we're not going to talk about how we was tired from editing and all of the shenanigans when we was over at another station. We was up late nights
trying to get,
because we had 3 different cameras and we didn't have a switcher, you know, so we had to bring all the footage back into
upload it all,
a software,
slice it, cut it, and merge it, and all of that. People who edit understand, you know, the time that it takes for just a 2-minute clip. You know,
and we still do our clips now, but it's just we only have to do clips, and we don't have to do the whole show, because Kurt does the show, put it together.
Our engineer.
I know. That's why we
world-renowned, internationally known.
Right.
For the last 3 decades. Yes.
I appreciate you, Kurt. Oh, that was a nice tone, was it?
It was. No. Okay. We'll work on it. I get you there. You know, that's what I do.
I want to sing.
Yeah.
But, oh, you got something?
I do. Well, it was a conversation. So I was telling you that me and my brother were having a truly, a discussion that kind of went across a bunch of topics. But one of the topics that we were discussing that I really enjoyed, we were talking about, and you and I had discussed, and I think we talked about it very minimally on the show, is unconditional love.
Oh, yeah.
And how, you know, I say to you, is a very small percentage, if almost not even existent. I won't say doesn't exist. I just think it's a small percentage of people who love unconditionally. I think everyone loves with conditions. And I was, you know, explaining to you with that is I've had conversations with people, and they always stop, or they get upset or whatever, because, and I'm not trying to point out anything, it's just a discussion. And I'm just saying, well, you're loving with conditions when you want them to do this or do that or provide this or make you feel this type of way. Well, that's a condition. That's not unconditional. Unconditional is regardless of their behavior, regardless of what comes out of their mouth, regardless if they're having a good day or a bad day when they interact with you and engage you, or if they don't want to engage with you, you still want to love them. Instead, other people's like, well, when you think about it in regards to a relationship, as soon as that other person stops doing the things that they like, then they're like, I don't need to be with that person no more, you know. And now it's over. So now you had conditions on it. You wanted them to be what you was expecting of them. And anytime they sway from that, then there was an issue there. So I would just say, just be honest. Like, just, yes, you love people, but you love them with conditions. There's nothing wrong with that. But be aware that you have conditions on the love that you're given. I think when people, again, these are conversations I know you and I've had. I mean, my brother's had this conversation plenty of times too. We were just touching on it today. Is I cannot show, demonstrate, or give anyone any level of love if I haven't discovered and found that within me, and I don't treat myself like that. I should be number one. In any situation, I should be number one, meaning I need to love myself to the highest degree before I can demonstrate and show that to anyone else outside of me. And I think that's the challenge for so many people. They so busy trying to understand the person they like that they are failing to understand themselves. So they put so much time and effort into understanding the other person. They and then they try to change that person because they're pointing out these opportunities to improve for that person. But then when that person looks at them and say, well, shit, you need to work on A, B, and C. And they're like, what are you talking about? Because they never even looked at themselves. They too busy looking at everyone else. Like, take the time out before you truly get into a serious relationship. You should be working on you, which usually takes being alone and being honest with yourself. You know, that's the hard part.
Yeah.
You're going to be honest and admit that you are nonchalant at times, that you're that you're an asshole, that at times you're triggered, understanding why you're triggered, what is the cause of that? Is it something that occurred in your childhood,
usually,
you know, that causes that trauma? And are you ready to face that? Until you face it, you're going to continue to run into these obstacles or barriers within relationships with others because you're unwilling to work on yourself, which is a part of the self-healing.
Yeah. And I think that's a part of the whole dynamic of unconditional love versus conditional love. Once you have to find your self-healing and find out what your flaws are. I mean, you have to do a lot of self-work before you can even offer unconditional love, right? But then if you want to offer it, I think it's a wonderful thing for you to even have a mindset of wanting to try to do it. So, but you choose who you want to give that to. Who do you? Yes. So it really is an experiment in my mind. Like, okay, let me practice this unconditional love. What does it look like? Now, when you talk about unconditional love, we're not saying no respect comes in it and things of that nature. No, you respect people because they're a human being. And number one, you respect people because if you value someone, then you're going to have a certain respect. And nobody wants to hurt anybody that they value anyway. But when you're choosing that person to say, I want to practice this unconditional love, you always have to look back at yourself and ask, okay, why does that bother me? What in my life that I can work on to not allow what this person is doing to bother me? And especially folks that live together is a little bit more complicated because you're like in that household. So this is when it comes with I know people be like, I don't like to settle. I hate that because no one really thinks about what settling is. Like when a house settled, that means it's like in the ground. It's sturdy. It has this foundation. So settling, if I change some ways about me to accommodate the person that I love, that's going to enhance who I am as a person. I'm being settled in me by allowing myself to be open to, okay, she's still working on that or he's still working on that. Let me not shake them up because I want them to be the best that they can be as well.
I like that. And I think it's as long as the person is doing it for them first.
Yeah, I'm talking about a mutual. Right.
And I heard you, because you were saying allowing them not to disrupt them as they're, making it. But and if you're not completely secure with yourself, you have no way of being able to truly manage that because you're getting emotional about things and you're not able to truly understand it and be empathetic because you're too busy thinking about you. And like I said, we are self-centered, we're narcissistic, we're egotistical, it's always about us. People try to avoid admitting to that, but it's always about you. And people speak when they speak, and they're always speaking about their feelings. And I'm gonna just say one thing I always catch with people. This is funny to me, where somebody could be talking about a problem they're having, and it's always funny to me when someone else will, be talking to them, but then they turn it around to themselves, and they're like, yeah, I went through this, and I was very traumatic, and it was hurtful, and then they end up being the one getting hugged and comforted. And I think it was supposed to be about this, but why didn't you allow them to have that moment? You turned the moment over into you, and now you're being the one comforted when they were the one who, needed it initially. Right. And it's like allow people to have those moments. The same way when someone is doing something good and they're getting praises, you always have someone saying, yeah, oh man, I'm happy for you. And I remember when I did this and did it. It's not about you. Why are you bringing up the shit that you did?
Want it to be about you.
Exactly. Yeah. It's so for it's difficult, not for everyone, but you see it's difficult for some people to allow others to have those moments without interrupting.
But I feel like when you're a child, you crave that attention. It's like, look at me, look what I could do. Look at me, look at me. Because you're being praised when you are doing some stuff, or you like the way it felt when you did something and you was praised.
And we're all just large kids.
That's exactly what I was gonna say. We're all just big kids still wanting that whole good job, But it's really a growth moment when you no longer need that, when you no longer need the accolades, when you no longer need the validation, when you are fine with just existing and fine with just being, you get the opportunity to just sit back and observe and enjoy the show.
Yeah.
Because it is a show.
It is a show. And I think that's when, in my opinion, that's when the person is whole. I remember at a young age, I used to always question when people were like, my better half. I'm like, what do you mean you're better half? Like, are you not already whole? Like, you should not be looking for someone else to complete you. Because then that means you have a gap, a void. Like, there's something there that you need to work on. Like, someone else should just be a complement to what you already are. Not someone fulfilling a gap, because that's only going to be temporary. Because soon as what if that relationship ends? Now you broken again. Like, no one should be breaking you.
Well, I think the way they say it. Well, I don't know, speaking for everyone, but I can remember times when I've heard it. Maybe they're coming from a place where their partner gave them some pieces that they didn't have before they got with the partner. So they're bringing the best out of them. Like, you see what I'm saying? I never took it in a way that it was like
they inspired them to be better.
Be better. And that's why we're here. Like, I cannot I can't just evaluate myself all the time. Sometimes my friends got to point out shit that I do.
No, I agree. And I think that's where, going back to what I was saying, I think that's where it has to be where you're doing it for you, where you can't, someone can point out something, but if you're only doing it to please them, because it's just temporary, it's not going to last. But if you're doing it because you're like, you acknowledge it. You're like, I am like that. It is something I want to work on. And the benefit of me working on it for me is that it's going to improve my relationships with others. But if I'm thinking I'm doing this because this person that I like a lot, I'm infatuated with, or I want to be around, I want to spend time with, they're saying that this is something they would like me to work on, so I'm going to do this for them. But that's just temporary. That's not going to last. How long are you going to keep it up? It's the same way with people do stuff for outward appearances, whether they go on a diet or they start working out. If they're doing it for someone else, it doesn't last.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So, but if you're doing it for you and just you, you're not doing it because you think you're gonna get attention or you're going to feel validated because people are going to take notice of you. That's not going to last because you're doing it for outward appreciation. If you're doing it
Full of social
for
media.
you, I know. If you're doing it for you, then you'll be good. That's why sometimes you see where people who were considered extremely attractive, and then you see them a few years later, and maybe they've gained a lot of weight, and then they don't look the same. And the first thing people say is, "What happened? What's going on?" It might not nothing going on. That's just they just being them. Then maybe they were holding up that appearance because they was doing that for everyone else, and once they let go of that, now they're just being them. Yeah, it's like you're so.
They don't want the attention no more.
Right. People are so want to understand what someone else is doing with their life when it's their life to live. Let them live it.
Let them leave it. Yeah. I'm at that point now. But since we touched on a little bit with social media, I was on social media strolling, and I realized that you cannot believe anything like what your eyes see. You cannot believe. And they have this AI app where they can implement your face and put it on Beyonce body, and it looks really good. And then they're dancing and she's moving, but it looks like
it's you actually doing it,
right? So this technology is going to get better and better. That you're not going to be able to know what is true and what is not, what is false. And so I was just thinking, so how can you decipher this shit out in the future? And I was like, this is a time that people really should work on their emotions and your intuition. That's all that leads us. When something is wrong and not right, you know how like if you walk in a room and it's just like off a little bit and you just be like, oh, I'm about to leave. You know, that intuition. Like those are the things that we're going to have to rely on more and more as technology starts to take over. So emotions, I think humans felt like emotions were a bad thing, but actually emotions is a superpower if you know how to work it and control it.
It's the control.
It's the control over it and not it having control over you.
Yeah, but that's going back to that self-awareness, knowing your triggers, knowing why this made you angry, why this brought out this emotion, you know, why this word triggered you to respond and act and get so heated. But that goes to look within and actually acknowledge, I experienced this at this age, or I was traumatized by this that went on.
So I might be off a little bit by, receiving whatever has happened in front of me because I'm using some situations that I went through and felt to kind of dictate what the outcome of whatever's happening around you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because now you're going in with a preconception of things based off of trauma. So you might be complete. I tell you all the time,
I like the way
our imagination is the most amazing thing that we have. This is what's created everything around us. Yeah. We first imagined it in our heads, in our minds, and created the concept, and then we made it tangible. We brought it to a reality. But emotions do the same thing to you. Your imagination goes so far left field. Somebody could say something and you take it, and you go way over here with it, and everyone is looking at you like, "What the fuck is wrong with you? Why are you even thinking like that?" And it's because you hadn't dealt with whatever issues you got going on.
So your story is skewed.
Very much. Yeah. So, and again, it goes back to, are you willing to do, because it's work.
Yeah. A lot of people don't want to do the work. They're not even thinking about doing the work. But going back to having discernment when you're watching things on TV and whatnot, what's real and what isn't. I think that is one of the reasons why I stopped watching the news. It's because it became so repetitive. It was like, oh, we need to show a shooting now. Oh, it's October. We need to show a black man getting beat. Yeah. Oh, it's December. Time to focus on all the holiday Christmas shit. You know what I'm saying?
Well, again, we talked about it on here before. The news needs viewers too. Right. Like they get ratings and all of that. Yeah, so they're doing stuff to get people to watch. If you look at the news stations now, like CNN and Fox and all these other ones, where it's almost like they have characters. on there that act a certain way. You know, they have those who are somewhat quote unquote traditional to what a news anchor is supposed to be. And then you have those who they're like a character to me. Like they act a certain way, you know, to get people to watch the show. They say things that are sometimes so absurd and outlandish. You're like, wow, they saying that on the news?
Yeah.
And it's like, well, why do you think they're saying it? Why do you think they're using these certain words? You know, I tell you all the time, I always listen to the words that people use. To me, it leads you to who they are. Or it leads you to somewhat of, you know, who they are. Because sometimes people, it's a masquerade. But anyway.
Well, yeah, because they teach you to use certain words. Like, you're not going to use shooting when you're delivering something. You're going to say, deadly shooting happened in downtown Greensboro. You know what I'm saying? Because that deadly part is like, oh my God, you know, strike some emotions and things like that.
Throwing that description, that adjective in front of it to kick it off. But yeah, it's all just, you know, having you know, being aware of things as far as the way they function, the way things operate. I always say to my kid, I'm saying to them since they were young, like, don't walk around with your eyes wide shut. You have examples of life in front of you, from me, from your mother, from your uncles, your cousins, your aunts, you know, your friends, their family. Like you're seeing life right in front of you. Pay attention, observe, look, you know, and see how things, see the results of certain behaviors and determine, you know, as you're starting off, is that a path you want to start off going down as you are figuring out what you want to do with yourself and you figure out who you are. But so many times people are just, you know, we talk about, they're just in the motion. It's the way how they talk about you can drive home from work because you've done it thousands of times without even thinking about it. You know, it's just like you could doze off and just, you know, it's like you could go. And it's like, you know, being aware, like waking up, you know, I say to you sometimes, I'm like, you know, this is me. Like I need to sometimes remind myself, like, this is me. Like all of this going around, this is just here, but I am me. And being aware of that, because sometimes you do kind of just get caught up in just day to day, and you can feel yourself in a pattern. And I'm like, I'm doing
like, I'm okay with patterns, but not with somebody else's that I'm supposed to be in. That's that part that just.
I was thinking about, it's so funny now we're talking. I was thinking about this, I don't know, like a week ago. How I was, you know, I'm always thinking about just how self-centered we all are. When I say that, everyone, please understand, I include myself in that. I'm not outside the bubble at all. But when you even think about our behavior, our currency, like the actual paper, the money, or even the coins, the fact that we have a face, somebody's face, like how narcissistic is that? That someone's face is on money. Just have the amount. Yeah. All you need is the amount. You have their face and their name. Yeah. Like I did this. That's like, and we all have good and bad about us, but it's just the fact we even Mount Rushmore, we got people's faces on rocks. It just all of those things, statues of people and everything, that just shows how we constantly want to be, we want approval and yes, being noticed and appreciated. We're always chasing that. And now it's always been there. It's just that people are pointing it out because of social media, but it's been there. You know, it's from before our times. You go back into Egypt with all the that it's always been that, you know, building tombs and stuff just for this one person, this one king to be put in to die with all their treasures. Like it's always, we are the most self-centered animals on this planet. We destroy as much as we build.
We do. So, we do.
It's funny.
I think, well, maybe we won't learn lessons, but I
well, we're learning. It's just, but that's what I say. To me, it's all just part of the design. Like this is us. This is who we are.
I think this is why it was tribes back in the day more so than now. It's because you have to be around the people that kind of think like you. Because everyone is going to do different things. But if you evolve as a being where you don't need any of that anymore, of course you got to find the people around you that think in that way, because it don't work. I mean, sometimes I have felt like I cannot connect with anybody because the conversation that you are having is so like blah. Like, I don't want to talk about sports all the time. I don't want to talk about Kim Kardashian. I don't want to talk. I don't even know who is making these songs anymore, and you know all the songs and who is making it. And
I would say what was a turnoff for me in dating women is whenever they start talking about another individual's life. Like, they're like, oh, so-and-so is doing this, and they'll ask me, oh, did you hear? I'm like, no, I don't follow nobody. I could care less about someone's life who I don't know. Now, if that was my sister, brother, aunt, uncle, cousin, mother, father, I'm going to be involved then because I have a relationship with that person. But anyone else, that's why it doesn't bother me when people die. I don't know you.
Oh,
that there's no connection there for me.
Message. Such and such died.
I've got those too, and I'm like, okay. I'm like, oh, okay, that's it. Like, I don't know them. Like, there is a level of compassion that's there just for life itself, but I don't know that person to shed a tear. I don't know that person to care what they did in their life. I'm at a point where I'm not one who I like words, but even with words, I was thinking about this too. We always say, well, this person said this, and we quote them and blah blah, but we quote them as if they discovered those group of words, and nobody else would have ever came up there, because we all on the same consciousness. We all think the same. That's why, I mean, you talked about this. That's why I could have a thought or an idea, but I never put it to action. And then a year or maybe a week or maybe a decade or however long, something transpires. And I'm like, oh, I thought of that. Mm-hmm. And like, because we're all on the same consciousness. We're all one consciousness with all these different thoughts that are manifesting their own lives. But it's just like, just because someone said that, why are they the only one who can say that? If I say it now, I got to say, well, this person said it. Yeah, I'm like,
that's what I was going to say. It's all about who quotes it first, and then you got to have the business part of it too, because you could coin it. And
but that again, that's all man-made. That's all what we created, what we established. Because again, when we were taking land and everything, I'm just talking about humankind in general. We was like, oh,
this is mine.
Yeah, this is my land, and then I build up a crew of people to fight off anybody else who try to come over and say, oh no, that's mine. Like, no, I got here first. But
I think that has a lot to do with in my church days.
Hallelujah.
Yeah, I was.
Ain't he good? But Kurt, ain't he good?
All the time. So we would call that a spiritual warfare, basically, because you have your ego versus your spirit man.
Okay.
So the spirit man, it doesn't have to have accolades. It doesn't have to. It's a being that all is good. You're good. We're all good. But then you have your flesh that you dwell in, and that's the war.
Yeah. Well, they say what the flesh is weak.
It's because we are. Because you have temptation, and you want to be seen, and you like that feeling, because our spirit is not reigning as much as our flesh.
But that's done on purpose. You think about the foods we eat, everything that we are consuming is to dumb down that spirit, that inner voice that you have. As they call that fifth dimension, it's like they want you not to get the fourth finger. They don't want you to get there. They want you to stay in the 3-dimensional state where you could be programmed, where you can be trained.
And feel in a certain type of way. And so then we have to realize, for me, it's like, okay, if we're feeling a certain type of way, emotions is energy and emotion. So if they know how to tap into our emotions and it's energy and emotion, then you are being moved.
Yeah, you puppets on the string.
Right. So how do you take that back?
Bad? I think I woke him up. Did you hear him? Did you still look back at me? He gave me the look, and then he walked up. I thought we had something right here. It was a warmth. I was comfortable.
Mine's is still right here.
Yeah, Nico is chilling.
Yeah. But I think it's over time. I hope that humans can evolve into being able to incorporate it, the spirit in the man, in a balanced way, because we would be awesome beings if that was the case and we didn't have to have the ownership over everything. And
but I
nature.
always think it's all by design. I say to you all the time, I think our imperfections are what make us perfect. I think that's by design, so we're perfect. Being imperfect and not being able to be excellent and all those things, that's how we're designed. So we are perfect based on the design.
Absolutely.
So,
it's a whole test. Why else would we exist with temptation? Why else would we exist with a knowledge of something that is beyond, or feeling like it's something that is more than? Why else? It is a design that has been made. It's a whole, now you're talking about a blueprint. It is we are in a freaking blueprint of the life.
Yeah.
Let's put this here. Let's put that here. Let's put this here and see what happens. Let's see how the outcome. Not saying that it's bad, good, or whatnot, whatever the outcome is, but by nature, you're going to want to flourish and get better than you was yesterday. You know what I'm saying? Well, some people.
Yeah, well,
if you have that mindset.
And the good thing is you see it. I mean, and Curse, made this statement before too. When you look at just society as a whole, I mean, as much as we have problems, we've advanced and evolved for the better.
Yeah.
So just like at any home, things might be functioning and going good, but there's things that are not always bright going on in the home. Like the mother and father might be going at it. The kids might be going at it. The parents and the kids might be going at it. But it's still, things are still operating like they need to, and things are still improving and getting better, So it's just a part of living. Everything is not going to always be sunshine and rainbows.
And we don't need it to be.
No.
Because that dark moments is when I get stronger.
We all do. To pull yourself out of that bottomless pit and come out of that and resurface, that's what keeps society evolving and getting better and progressing.
Yeah, like Kurt was saying last week, or whenever we did the last Random Thoughts, war, when he was talking about war, and I was thinking about that, and war brings people, that dark moment brings people together, and you think about humanity in a totally different way, and it's tragic and dark, but at the same time, it's like light and peace. It's weird how you cannot have one without the other. It's the yin and the yang.
It is the yin and yang. It's that constant balance. And even when you think about like coming together, when you think about just in the house, if you have a house that's going through some things with the whole family, let someone from the outside do something to somebody within that house. They all come together and they go after that person. The same way when someone dies, everyone comes together. Even people who were beefing within the family all come together. And they might even argue at the funeral or the wake or all that, but they're all there. Before that, they were not coming around. They were not speaking to you. At least now, it might not be the best choice of words when they speak to you, but they're speaking. And they came, and they, all of those things, is like you said, the darkness brings us together when we push towards the light as one, unified.
And then with death, when death surrounds you, like you was just saying, when you come together, it also makes you think differently too. If you really hone in on death, when my grandmother passed away, and seeing her take her last breath, and seeing how many people she touched, seeing her lineage, seeing it just put
I know that was beautiful.
It was, because we was all there while she was laying on the bed, like she wanted it to be. Even we had people over Skype technology that's in the room as well. And we're all holding hands and thanking her for the job that she has done. Like, well done while you was on this planet. Well done. So in the moment of losing someone, well, not really losing, because I be feeling her energy all the time, but losing the body that she was dwelling in,
Right.
in that moment, it was still beautiful. So it was like a beautiful tragedy all in one.
Yes.
Yeah. And so I don't think we should ever feel like you want to take death away, the ending of something away. Because if I could definitely go back, I would have hugged her a little bit more. I would have talked more with her, because I didn't know what it was like on the other side when she was gone. I had no recollection of how my life would be without her. Right. So now I treat everybody else differently, because of the experience I had with her. So death makes you, like for me, it makes me evaluate. And every time someone passes away, I'm just like really honing in on that moment. I really want to say, so how is it? Like on their way out. Like I want some information. Yeah.
Whatever it is that's going on to that second, it makes you think about some of the conversations we had as far as thinking about what this current life we're in is. Just as some people say, you're sleeping.
Yeah.
And you're in a dream
wake
state.
up
And then when you die, is you actually waking up.
Yeah.
And you're like, shit, that was a dream? Like,
Yeah.
all of that was a dream. It's like when we wake up now, how it seems so real.
Like when you are dreaming.
Right. And then you wake up and you're like,
oh,
that was a dream. Like, shit.
But who is to say that your conscious don't, some people don't believe that it's just black. But it's hard for me to go into that place, is because I always felt like I always existed. Like it was never a number for me. Like you say I'm 5 years old, but I feel like I've been here forever.
Yeah.
But I take it. Give me some cake. But yeah, I go along with the birthdays. Sure.
Yeah, celebrate me.
Yeah, you want to. But yeah, it is. It's. I'm learning to love all the tragedies and the dark moments. Do I want to go through them? And hell no, I don't want to go through the dark moments. I don't want to go through the conflicts. But I understand that that's just going to make me a better person because it's about the perspective that you're having on the conflicts and on the dark moments in your life. Yeah. That was a lot.
It was good.
Yeah. I think that wraps up this random thought.
I think so. Yeah, that was good.
I know.
Good talk.
What you think, Kurt? Is that good?
Good enough.
Hey, look, if the man says it's good enough, then
It's good enough.
Yeah.
I like that. Good enough. So this is our last random thoughts in this studio.
In the studio, but we got to do our last words. Okay. You want me to go or
ahead.
you want to go?
You go.
Oh, shit. Okay.
Good enough.
Well, let the man lead, right?
I love that you love being a man. That's all I'm saying. Please don't be calling me and talking about you want to transition and stuff like that. Love it.
I do.
The melody to go along with it.
I know. Let's start singing in a minute.
Yeah. MAAN. MAN. Man. Okay. Let me. I would say. It was. I said this to my son. With the open heart, being vulnerable with him, and I was telling my brother this too, and I was saying that it's nice to have people love you, but it's beautiful when you have people that you love. So, and I say that because I feel like when you have someone you love or those that you love, it's inspiring for you to push through things and continue with life and improve on who you are for you because you want to be something more for these people that you love. So it's nice for someone to know that people love me, but it's so amazing to know that I have people that I actually love.
Yeah, I like that. Okay. You only can love unconditionally if you love yourself unconditionally.
Okay. Why you with this? Oh my God. Okay, Kurt.
Okay, you can sing, but I can't snap my fingers. God.
All right, let's see what Kurt has.
Is this supposed to be like an I am, or this is something new?
Nah, this is what we did last time. Where
I am is way easier.
if it was your last words, like what would you say?
Thank God it's over.
Hey, no, keep it.
Now I love that.
Because you know what? When it's over, it's this is a tiring. Yeah, this journey is just it's make it up a word.
No, you didn't.
Okay, it is okay. Anyway, but this it's emotional and it's a lot and it's hard. So if I'm at the end of my life, I know I'm gonna be like, thank God this is over.
Yeah.
What's next?
Like it. And before 2, 1. Oh, we'll do that as you do when you're videoing it. But
we would like you to sign your table.
Yeah, because you never
You're
we
the
thought
only
of
one that
that.
ain't signed
We've
the
signed
table.
it, but you've never signed it. We got the guys to sign. We want you to sign it too.
I
Yeah.
don't need to sign it. I actually, after every show, I just lick it. So I have
You lick it.
So you're not gonna sign it.
It's covered with.
It's covered with his DNA. It's all there. Yeah,
Okay.
Don't put a black light on it.
yeah.
Oh my God. He said don't put a black light.
Yeah, it's just all of it.
I'm loving it though.
Yeah, I
Everybody
wonder why,
sign it.
because there's some you see these little white spots. These
It's a
faded,
drink. It's
is
just
it?
a drink,
Is it?
Rob
Or is
Bell. He
this
didn't
where-
lick it.
What the black light? No, I'm not thinking about licking it. I'm thinking about what the black light would be used for.
I think Martin's thinking about licking it.
Right. Oh, I'm sorry. I
You
took
woke
your hair out.
Nico up. But yeah,
but-
as always, you can find us on every social media outlet.
Bravo Speaks.
If you want to, yes, Bravo Speaks. Any questions, thoughts, suggestions, comments, you can email us at brabellspeaks03@gmail.com.
And thank you guys for watching.
Always.
We appreciate the views. I do the. Where's it?
Is that how you do it? Oh, and you shoot.